It didn't begin with politics. It began with psychology. In the late 1990s, long before fake news became a household term, a small British consultancy was quietly testing ways to shape behavior on a mass scale. Its name was Strategic Communication Laboratories, SCL Group. According to Marketing Week, founder Nigel Oakes claimed that by understanding human emotion, you can change opinion as surely as advertising changes buying habits. The UK company's house registration, number 050665337, lists SCL Group as specializing in behavioral research and strategic communications. Behind that bland phrasing hid decades of military-style influence work. By 2003, a young Eton graduate named Alexander Nix joined SCL. Polished, charming, and fluent in the language of persuasion, Nix rebranded SCL's psychological operations for a new market: elections. Internal company brochure seized later by the UK Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, in 2018 boasted of data-driven strategies to manage populations. What happens when the tools of war are marketed as a campaign strategy? Across the Atlantic, another figure sought an edge. Robert Mercer, the reclusive co-CEO of Renaissance Technologies, had made billions predicting stock movements through algorithmic patterning. His ideological partner, Steve Bannon, saw politics as cultural warfare. In 2013, Bannon met Nix at a New York conference. According to testimony before the UK Parliament DCMS Committee, the 19th of March 2018, that meeting birthed Cambridge Analytica LLC, registered in Delaware on the 31st of December 2013. A hedge fund genius, a political firebrand, and a salesman had found a common language: data. Cambridge Analytica promised a revolutionary synthesis, combining the military's PSYOPs precision with Silicon Valley's predictive analytics. Its investor pitch, later leaked to The Guardian and entered into the DCMS record Q488, bragged of psychographic modeling of every adult citizen. The research cited came from the University of Cambridge's Psychometric Center, where psychologists Michael Kosinski and David Stilwell proved that Facebook likes could predict personality with eerie accuracy. Their 2013 paper in PNAS showed that 70 likes could reveal sexual orientation, political leaning, even parental separation. Among those following their work was Dr. Alexander Kogan, a researcher in the same department. In 2014, he created a Facebook quiz app, This Is Your Digital Life. Roughly 270,000 users took the quiz, granting the app access not only to their own profiles, but to their friends, a loophole in Facebook's pre-2015 API. The ICO investigation report, the 6th of July 2018, found that the loophole produced data from about 87 million users worldwide. Records were transferred to Kogan's commercial entity, Global Science Research Limited, GSR, and licensed to Cambridge Analytica. Facebook's policies technically forbade this, but enforcement was minimal. When asked by the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee the 10th of April 2018, when he learned of the transfer, Mark Zuckerberg replied, late 2015, the silence between 2014 and 2015 became the most expensive gap in Facebook's history. The greatest breach in political history wasn't a hack. It was consent. Inside a modest office on London's New Oxford Street, SCL elections engineers began merging the GSR dataset with voter rolls, credit histories, and consumer records from brokers like Axiom and Experian. A forensic summary later published by the ICO confirmed creation of psychographic profiles coded to the Ocean model: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Each profile mapped emotion. What frightened them? What inspired them? What kept them awake? Campaign strategists could now push the right message to the right temperament at the right moment. In 2014, Cambridge Analytica tested the system in small races, including the John Bolton Super PAC, FEC ID C00563674, which paid $1.2 million for data and micro-targeting. The results impressed Mercer and Bannon of the fund expansion. The prototype had worked. Next came the national trial. By early 2015, Nix was presenting in Washington hotel ballrooms. clicking through slides promising 5,000 data points on every American. He found his first presidential client in Ted Cruz's campaign. Analysts used GSR data to locate clusters of high neuroticism voters and serve them fear-based messaging on gun rights and immigration. Campaign filings FECI-DCO 0574624 show payments of about $5.8 million. When Brad Parscale, Donald Trump's digital director, saw the results, he invited Nix's team to join the 2016 Republican presidential effort. On the 23rd of June 2016, Cambridge Analytica signed a contract with the Trump Make America Great Again Committee valued at more than $6 million. FEC Year-End Report 2016. The machine had found its battlefield. By the summer of 2016, the Cambridge Analytica experiment had moved from research to reality. Inside a warren of offices in San Antonio, engineers built what they called the Battleground Dashboard. Every day, new data poured in: Facebook engagement rates, voter roll updates, consumer purchases, even church membership lists. Each input refined the persuasion model. ICO memos later described 3 target categories: persuadables, turnouts, and suppressions. Suppressions were the most controversial voters considered, likely to support the opposition, who could be demotivated by carefully chosen messages. Analysts discussed negative content to reduce participation. Democracy was no longer about winning hearts. It was about narrowing them. In the months before the election, Cambridge Analytica produced thousands of ad variants. A U.S. House Intelligence Committee study confirmed more than $5.9 million in targeted social media placements through third-party vendors tied to the company. Each ad was tested in micro batches. If anger clicked, anger multiplied. The Washington Post found that Trump's digital budget quintupled in the final 90 days, money funneled into algorithmic amplification. "We ran the campaign like a tech startup," Brad Parscale said. Every decision was data. Across the Atlantic, the same techniques appeared in the Brexit debate. Emails disclosed to the UK Electoral Commission in 2018 show leave. The EU consulted Cambridge Analytica in late 2015. Whistleblower Brittany Kaiser testified, DCMS Committee, the 17th of April 2018, that psychographic scoping work had been done using U.S. data, the same algorithm. Whispering the Midwestern voters was now murmuring to British pensioners. Inside Cambridge Analytica, the mood bordered on evangelical. Staff wore black, T-shirts reading "Data wins elections." Bannon told colleagues their mission was to weaponize culture. Alexander Nix declared at the 2016 Concordia Summit, "We have psychological profiles of every adult in the U.S." When Donald Trump won on the 8th of November 2016, Cambridge Analytica claimed victory. Internal celebratory emails later recovered under ICO warrant SW201803 carried subject lines like "CA delivers" and "Big data wins." Whether the models truly swung the election remains debated, but perception alone made them powerful. In politics, belief is influential enough. The aftermath brought attention and hubris. In January 2017, Nix boasted to clients at a Mayfair dinner that his company had helped write the victory speech. Within a year, those same boasts would unravel the empire. Early 2018 saw the first cracks. Rumors spread that a former employee possessed internal data and was speaking with journalists. On the 17th of March 2018, The Guardian and the New York Times published parallel exposes. Revealed 50 million Facebook profiles harvested for Cambridge Analytica. The number would soon rise to 87 million. The reports quoted data scientist Christopher Wiley, calling Cambridge Analytica Steve Bannon's psychological warfare tool. Within hours, Facebook's share price dropped 7%. Regulators demanded answers. The UK Information Commissioner's Office obtained a search warrant for Cambridge Analytica's London offices on the 19th of March 2018, the first of its kind under Section 50 of the Data Protection Act, 1998. Agents worked through the night, seizing servers and paper files. The haul, summarized in the ECO report, the 6th of July 2018. showed political campaign datasets and personality scoring algorithms derived from Facebook user information. The company, built on secrets, was finally forced to open its own files. Parliament convened emergency hearings. On the 27th of March 2018, Wiley appeared before the DCMS committee, pink hair and steady-voiced. This was not just about selling ads, he said. It was about changing belief. The transcript, Q1054, records his warning. If we do nothing, this will happen again and again. Zuckerberg remained silent for 5 days before posting an apology on the 21st of March. We have a responsibility to protect your data, and if we can't, then we don't deserve to serve you. On the 11th of April, he sat before the U.S. House Committee on Energy and Commerce. When Representative Dingell asked how many users were affected, he answered, approximately 87 million. For the first time, the architect of the digital world sounded like a defendant in his own creation. Then Channel 4 News aired undercover footage of Alexander, Nick's boasting that Cambridge Analytica could entrap politicians with bribes or prostitutes. The scandal exploded. Nix was suspended the next day. Internal emails later obtained by the ICO forensic team referenced a project codenamed Rome, reputation management via discrete means. To investigators, it looked like blackmail. By April 2018, the narrative had shifted from innovation to exploitation. The company that promised to know everything about everyone suddenly found itself stripped bare. But the real revelation wasn't what they had done. It was how easily we had let them do it. Every tap, every swipe, every click had been a confession freely given. When the dust settled, Cambridge Analytica was gone, but its fingerprints covered the architecture of the modern web. Governments issued fines. Journalists collected awards, yet the pipelines of data kept humming. The scandal was supposed to end something. Instead, it began an era. The Information Commissioner's Office released its full 220-page report, Investigation into the Use of Data Analytics in Political Campaigns, July 2018. Paragraph 3.14 carried the quiet confession. Data from This Is Your Digital Life may still exist in derivative datasets held by third parties. Commissioner Elizabeth Denham later told the BBC, once data is copied, control is a metaphor. Deletion had become theater. Replication was the real act. In 2023, the European Digital Services Act took effect, demanding algorithmic transparency. Article 27 allows audits of systemic risks to civic discourse. Yet one commissioner told Le Monde, we are still chasing ghosts in code. The business model of attention is indistinguishable from the psychology of addiction. Reports from the Oxford Internet Institute 2022 count 70 nations using computational propaganda. What Bannon and Nix imagined as disruption has become routine bureaucracy. Influence now measures in impressions per second. A recovered email from the SCL archives reads, we don't change minds. We reinforce what's already there. The tragedy is how well it worked. Every notification, every trending topic, every perfectly timed outrage is its descendant. We scroll through curated worlds believing they reflect our will. Yet each choice is a data point, each emotion a variable. The algorithm learns, predicts, adapts. What it sells is not merely products or politics, but the illusion of authorship. The most convincing lie the machine ever told us is that it doesn't exist. Cambridge Analytica imploded in 2018. 5 years later, its DNA pulses through every platform. The scandal was not a full stop. It was a comma. The sentence continues, written by algorithms that never sleep. Maybe the real question isn't who controls the data, but whether we still recognize ourselves within it.